Hey guys, I'm going to be doing a video today. Excuse the shirt. This is kind of my social club sorority is what public schools call it. Gita, no, it's not a cat. And I had a all club rush today, so I just want to let you know that I don't always wear this shirt. I actually am not ever allowed to wear it unless we're doing a huge club thing. But yes, I am not weird. I am not representing cats. I don't like cats. Sorry. Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about my Disney College Program story. I'm going to start with when I first experienced Disney, and then I'm going to end with the story that you know of how I got accepted. I first experienced the magic of Disney whenever I went with my family to Walt Disney World whenever I was 12. Because I had grown up watching Disney movies, I longed to experience the actual magic. I longed to go where the actual magic began and started. That first vacation that my family took to Disney, it spurred this drive and this obsession over learning, watching, and understanding everything about Walt Disney and his parks, his movies, and his life. So 3 years later, we decided to go back again, and again, and again. I longed to be a part of this magic. I wanted to be a reason that families had magical days. I wanted to give back, even just a little bit of the magic that I had received from Disney. I wanted to experience what it was like on the other side of the magic, and I wanted to help create this magic, and I wanted to be the pixie duster instead of the pixie dusted. But sadly, for a few months, I suppressed this yearning. It wasn't plausible. I was a Bible major. I had plans to work at my grandparents' camp and start up my own women's shelter. There was no room to work at Disney. It wasn't going to help me. But then I began to think, and I began to realize that my dreams are dreams, and they're worth living, and they're worth doing, even though it might have not been plausible and it might not be realistic and it might not be the adult thing to do. I knew that I would regret not doing it. And right now, I can take chances. I'm a sophomore in college. I'm 20 years old. I don't have anything tying me down. I don't have a major job that I have to stay with. I don't have a husband. I don't have kids that I have to care for. So right now, while I can, I want to do this. My dad and me were having a conversation, and he said, Brittany, you can always do it senior year. And after I graduate from senior year, I can go do the Disney College Program. But I don't know what I'm going to be doing my senior year. So I dove in head first into figuring everything possible about the Disney College Program. So after watching every single YouTube video and every blog out there possible, it was now January, and I was ready for that first step. I had joined a Facebook group and found 1 million people out there, all just like me, all Disney crazy, some even more than I was, which was kind of surprising. And on January 12th, the applications officially dropped, along with my heart. I learned from the Facebook group that the application had dropped, and even though I had signed up to get notified of when the application dropped on the Disney website, they didn't let me know until a couple of days later. So I'm very grateful that I joined that Facebook group the first before the applications even dropped, so that I was familiar and I was aware of what was going on, what was happening. Now it was game time, and I knew that any step off of my direct path to Disney was going to get me no longer in considered. So I got to work, and during my chapel on January 12th, which starts at about 11 o'clock, so I got there probably around 10:30 and started filling it out, and by 11:30 I had submitted it. Now was the wait for the email confirming my fate of whether I would stay in submission, move on to progress, or be no longer considered. I had heard that nobody got no longer considered, so I really wasn't worried about that. I thought that I would get moved to progress and fill out my web-based interview on that day, which some people had already been doing, or I would stay in submission indefinitely. In my Lifetime and Wellness class, the last email that I ever thought would come through came. Some of you may know what it looks like, but the tag, the little info bar, says, "Thank you for your interest." When you click on it, It says, "Thank you for your interest, but ... dot dot dot. Obviously, you were no longer considered." When I went onto my Disney dashboard, the bar said NLIC, which is no longer in considered. I couldn't understand why. I had filled out everything correct. I put that I was over 18. I put that I was available for every possible date, whether it was weekend or holiday. I put everything right. I had so much job experience. There was no reason why they would automatically not consider me. I even went to Facebook, posting a post about what happened, what did I do wrong. Everybody asked me the questions, kind of just like what I told you, asking if I put maybe accidentally checked under 18 or put that I wasn't available during a certain holiday. But I knew that I did everything right. So, refusing to give up, I went to Disney. I sent them an email asking them what I had done wrong or if I could do anything to fix it. Later that day, Disney sent me an email back saying that they would get back to me in about 3 to 5 business days. So, on the 16th of January, for nerve-wrackingly long days, I heard back. As my eyes quickly scanned over the details of my email, my heart began to slow. They were going to reset my dashboard and my application and had me reapply again on January 21st. 6 days later, I was immediately able to move straight on to the web-based interview. I had thought that I would have to reapply and then wait more time for the staying in submission or for the progress bar and then for the web-based application. And I was very scared because on January 21st, it was getting close to about 2 weeks after the first application was filled out, and they say, rumor has it, that acceptances begin to come out about 2 to 3 weeks after that first phone interview and application stuff goes in. And thankfully, the applications dropped pretty quickly, pretty early. Usually they wait till the end of January or the beginning of February to drop. So part of me knew that I had time, but the other part of me was very scared that I wouldn't even get to the phone interview before acceptances began going out. So on January 21st, 6 days later, I was finally able to fill out my web-based interview. I sent them an email letting them know that it had been January 21st and that I was able to reapply. And they sent me an automatic email to just fill out the web-based the web-based interview. I didn't have to fill out the application again. I didn't have to wait. My heart soared just for a couple of seconds, knowing that I wouldn't have to wait any more days. I would know that day whether I'd get to move on or I was done. So, 40 tense minutes later, I was staring at a computer screen that said, "Next steps phone interview." I quickly received an email that allowed me to register for a time and a date for my phone interview. And the only date available, the soonest date available, was February 8th at 8 o'clock in the afternoon. This interview would take place almost a month after the first application dropped. I was very nervous that people were going to start getting accepted because it would have been definitely time for them to receive their acceptances. One part of my mind was very freaked out that I wouldn't get accepted, that I was too late, that they were going to fill all the spots before I even had the chance to have a phone interview. But the other part of me knew that God was in control. I knew that God had a plan, and I could not do a single thing about it. I prepared. I worked so hard at this, and I couldn't do much else. I had done everything I could. I have watched every single video out there. I knew everything there was about it. There was nothing more that I could really do to succeed any better. So I knew that I would just have to relax. I was going to have to calm down, relax my body, and let God take over. Let God control the rest. During the rest of the 2 weeks, I checked my emails every day. I checked Facebook every day, waiting for any acceptance posts. And though there were some fake ones, there wasn't any real ones. And I continued to watch YouTube videos. I watched them over and over again. I prepared my questions. I answered all of the questions with answers, and I go back and answer them with even better answers and make sure that my interview was as high quality as I could possibly be. At 8 o'clock on February 8th, the call finally came. My heart was pounding, my body was shaking, but I had a successful interview that lasted 22 minutes long. Also, another praise is nobody had been accepted yet. Nobody, not at all. On February 17th, which I believe was a Wednesday, the first acceptances came out, but it was only for alumni summer program. On February 18th, the Disneyland acceptances began to come out. And I was getting very nervous. It was now Friday, and it was getting very close to 2 weeks after my phone interview. I thought that if the acceptances came out at the beginning of the week, I really wouldn't have a chance of being in that first round because it had only been a week since my phone interview, and I wasn't sure how long it took for the recruiters to go over my interview and decide whether they wanted me or not. But since it was Friday, I figured that there was a pretty good chance that they knew my fate. My fate was sealed, and I had no idea, but they did. On February 19th, at 10 o'clock, the acceptances for the first round came out. Facebook posts were popping up like crazy. I remember glancing down at my phone once during class, at my 9 o'clock class. I had seen this acceptance post, and she said Walt Disney World, and it was like 9:53 in the morning, and it may have been a later time for her or an earlier time for her, but the first Walt Disney World acceptance had officially gone out. Her last name began with an A, and we quickly learned that they were going through by alphabetical order. I didn't have my 10 o'clock class, so I walked to my campus center, and I was waiting for chapel at 11. And so during that hour, I refreshed my email endlessly. At 10:14, an email finally popped up. I had been accepted. That congratulations, Brittany email came through. I was a part of the first round. Who would have thought? I was so excited. This was like mind-blowing. I had no idea. My life had now changed. Officially, I can now say that I work for Disney. I worked for a mouse. Who knew? Who knew that? All Disney things are not going to be like ingrained in my head. It's going to be like waking up and sleeping and riding a bike or driving a car. Disney is now a part of my life for the rest of my life, no matter how much I want it or don't want it. Working for Disney is now a chapter in my book. I'm not there yet, but the chapter has begun. Thanks guys for watching. I am very excited about this program. I hope you enjoyed my story. Share your story, please, if you can. If it's not super long, or if it is, I will read it. But I know that it might take you a while to type it up. I hope you enjoyed, guys. Thanks for watching, and tune back in next week for the next video. Who knows what it's going to be? Only I do. Alright, thanks guys for watching, and I will see you next week.
To say goodbye. So long, farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. Goodbye for now, until we meet